and welcome to my channel. It is Monday, April 17th. I'm actually filming in the morning, and I am still working or doing sewing the server book that I had made, but I've been making some changes on it, and I thought I would show you my process, show you some of the steps that I did, and some of the thinking that I did behind it. So this is one that I've just kind of, I'm playing with it because I want to change this pocket on this side from what I'm doing. Maybe. I'm still playing with that idea. But all it is the lining piece. And I've got stacked underneath it just for organization because I'm not going to work on it for another couple days, is the exterior piece. But I have here pinned on this side the slip pocket where the paper pad goes. And I thought I'd show you this. So this is sewn. This is one long piece of fabric here. This I think is 13.5, the big piece, and the little one is 13. And I just fold it in half, right sides together, and I sew the top and the bottom. Turn it right side out, press it, you know, all those good things, clip in the corners. And then you can see here, it's also half lined with Shapeflex, only on one side, to give it a little bit more firmness. And then I top stitch along the top, and I've been doing a double top stitch. And then when I go to put it in place, I put it on my mat because I find it easier to work on this mat. And I use my ruler, and I just measure up and line this up so that I have a 1/2 inch here from the bottom of the fabric here, and I line up the base of this and then pin it in place. So I know it's about 1/2 inch up. 1/2 inch I find, sorry, works pretty good to put it in place. My presser foot sometimes hits it and pushes over, so I have to be real careful when I'm sewing right here. It's, not this part. When I sew this down, it's just fine, but when I go to sew the two body pieces together, I have to just keep in mind that this little bump here might push my presser foot over as I'm sewing, so I just have to make sure I'm keeping it steady when I sew. But anyway, I can't remember if I said, so I sew here and sew up here, I back stitch here, and then I'm doing and I do another line of stitches here and up here, and I back stitch again here to hold my little pen slip in place. And how I position my pen slip is I've been using a Sharpie because it's kind of fat to see if it's, you know, going to fit comfortably on there, and the pen will latch this way. I don't like them tight, so I think a Sharpie is a good kind of average measurement, just in my opinion. So that's the starter of it. Eventually what will happen is I'll build this pocket, and which I haven't done yet because, again, I'm still playing with what I want over there. And then I put them together like this, sew around, leaving a gap, a turning gap, and go from there. Pretty much just flip it right side out, stick the corners out, and go. So my different, let me see, I've done just a few of them. And so I started with one that I did for myself, and I did an earlier video on that. Sorry, I'm knocking my camera. And I decided it was just a little bit too wide. It works, it's great. I'm not switching it out. I use it all the time. I love it. But I decided, and I made a second one just like that for another friend. And then I decided I wanted to make it slightly narrower. Not much. It's probably maybe 1/2 inch narrower. And so this is kind of the process I went through to figure out what changes I wanted. I started with this one, and this one I went maybe 1 inch narrow when I started. I can't remember exactly what I did, but I decided it was just slightly too narrow. I mean, it works fine. It's great. So it's probably just me being picky. I get my pen in there, and it comes in, and it's, you know, works just great. But I didn't want it to be tight, and I felt like it's a little tight. So I didn't like this on here. I just picked the wrong color. It should have been this color instead of, you know, I like this right here, but I didn't like the, anyway, fabric choice, didn't like it. But super cute. I did like it. I think it's great. You know, it's good, and I'm going to be giving it away, so I'm not sewing for myself, so I'm hoping the person who gets it will like that one. And then I sewed, let me see, no, not that one, that's one of my end ones. So I sewed the rest of them a little bit wider, and I'm happy with that. Works well. I sewed this one next, and then as I was looking at this one, I'm looking at how my zippers are in here and how much bulk. With this one, there's this zipper pouch and this zipper pouch was essentially what they are on this one are all sewn right into here. So they have the raw edges of this one and the raw edges of this one sewn right into here. And that puts a lot of bulk. I can't get this corner completely out. This one's a lot sharper. I can show you on camera. But this one curves a lot because there's so much bulk. I can't get it to cut out. So, and I also layered these really close together. So I was looking at the bulk right here. And so I decided on this one, I would sew this pouch into the lining, but I didn't want this one to be in the lining. So you can see my corners came out less rounded on that because I did that. So what I did to make that happen, I've got two here. These are ones I'm working on now. Let's see. So what I did to make that happen was on this pocket, the one that was underneath. Let me get this out of the way so you can see. I sewed the bottom in and then attach it. I attached it 1 inch up. I tried 1/2 inch and it was not quite right. So the thing you have to keep in mind is here you have to be, I'm not going to get it to fold very nicely, but it folds, it's going to fold at the halfway mark. So I have this much space. Fold it this way, that's probably easier to show you. There we go, and that's not getting in the way. So I have this much space to play with and on each side. So I was able to lift this up, get it lined up. Again, I used my ruler and stitch it down here, just right here, because this end and this end are going to get caught in the seam, and I don't have to worry about flipping a corner on here. And then I just lay this one, and the way I figured it out was kind of how much of this did I want exposed on each one, and kind of how much bulk here I was going to have on the ends here when I sewed around. And so I could lay it out like that and look. So I've gone on some of them I did a little different. I went a little tighter because I didn't want as much to show. But I pretty much settled on I like that inch on it for the bulk here and the bulk here to keep that together. So, and it's pretty easy to put pieces together so I'm not losing anything. Pretty easy to do that when you're doing the sewing it together. So it's just like sewing the zipper pouch, if you've ever done that, on that. And then to do the outside, the upper one, you just fold it in half and you're ready to go. Press, of course. And you're ready to go. For the inner one, when you get done sewing this, you go just like you're going to do a zipper pouch. You do right sides together here on the lining, right sides together on the exterior, like this. And then you sew up the long sides on each one. So down here. And then once you've done that, you end up with something like this. And then you just look inside, find which side is your exterior. And this might be confusing because these are opposite. But you look for your exterior, where your zipper is, and you reach inside through to the other side, and you just pull it through to turn it inside out. Or, excuse me, right side out. And once you get it all right side out, you just kind of have to work it and smooth it out. Press it. So, and I won't do that on camera, but ta-da! And there is your top pocket with the finished bottom, which you just line up on your body piece and stitch down the side on that. So there's that. These are my other little pieces. This is the pocket, which will go, since that one's sewn, it'll go, I'll just kind of eyeball it on this one. And pin it in place, stitch around it. And then I have a little card that I fit in there to see if it's fitting. And I might stitch I've been stitching twice around on everything. I like the way it looks. So this one is my slip pocket over here. And again, I just measure it up, lay it there, and pin it in place. And then when I sewed all it together, I sewed in runs. And so this was still attached, so I left it attached. But if it weren't, what I've been doing is taking a clip and just clipping it right here if it weren't attached. And that helps me to remember to put it in place. So I have ripped a few. Had to go back and unstitch. And I just clip it to right here until I'm ready. And the other thing is I do make sure that this end on these, the ends are finished because they're actually inside this slip pocket. Because I'm going to sew it into here. So I'd like to know that that's finished. And a couple of them I forgot to do the finishing, to fold and finish on them. So I actually just zigzagged across to keep them from fraying. So my different versions. So I started with this one and narrowed it down, but slightly more than I felt like I wanted. And so I added just literally, half an inch. Stop the camera from jiggling. And then I did this one, and I decided, and I did it with that kind of pocket, so I didn't want, this pocket isn't in this seam. But when I sewed it together, even though I had thought about it, I was like, okay, if I do that, I need to attach this one first. I forgot to attach it. So with this one, what I did was I hadn't sewed it closed. I flipped it right back out, flipped it back inside out. And I actually did a running stitch, and I hand stitched because I couldn't do it on the machine. So I hand stitched the bottom of this pocket to in place so that it is a pocket rather than just a slip screw on there. So this is a separate pocket from this one. And I just didn't want to leave it open. It's picky on my part, I guess. I don't know. But you can see, I don't know, can you see where I've done 2 lines of stitching here around? And also on this side. So some detailing. And then I kind of was looking at this and thinking, well, that's kind of bulky here. And so I did this one. I really like it. I actually like everything about that one. And then I moved on to doing this design. I don't know if this is my next one or not. I think I did actually Olaf next. But so with Olaf, what I decided to do, and I got this fabric just recently at Walmart for $1.50 a yard. They were clearing it out. And I like Olaf. I think it's cute. So I bought this. It was a miscut when I asked the guy to cut it for me. I said 1.5 yards, and I turned and then looked back, and he was doing a 1/2 yard, and I was like, oh, no, I said 1.5 yards. I said, but I'll take that anyway. And so this takes a little bit more than a 1/2 yard to get this pocket and get this. But I actually had extra cut too, but it worked because he cut it a little strong. And so I actually was able to make it work for this project. But what I decided to change on this one was I put tabs. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but I put the tabs at the end of the zipper. So I cut my zipper first, and I put little tabs, and you can barely see it over here. And that was to try to keep the bulk of the zipper tape out, and because cotton is thinner than the zipper tape, even double layered. So this was my first attempt at doing that. Again, this time I did remember to sew the pocket down before. And so these are the different iterations that I went through on that one, so you can see on this one. What I decided on this one was I would make a shorter tape and a longer tape so the zippers were offset. And I did that on a couple of them, but it was late, I was tired, and I didn't feel like doing that in depth of thinking which pocket was I going to put on front. And so you can see on this one I did it as well. Oh, can't see if I put my finger over the camera. There you go, I can see. So one is higher than the other there, I like that too. And some of them I want the other way. Hope that's not making you dizzy. I'm going to try to push this a little more solid. Here, differently. But pretty much just having fun with these. Well, if you're wondering, I'm giving them... I'm not keeping all of these. They're not for me. Another one of my friends wants one. She likes mine. She has her one already that she bought, but she liked mine. And so I made one. I started making one and trying to design it, and I was thinking, oh, I'll just make a few so she can have some choices, and then what am I going to do with the rest of them? And coming up in May is Teacher Appreciation Week, and so I thought these would make good teacher gifts as little mini portfolios. So that is what I'm going to do with all the extras here. And also the one that I'm trying to change the pockets on, the pocket design, I haven't decided if that's what I'm going to do yet or not. I might end up doing the same thing. This one is for a friend of mine. She volunteers a lot. And I haven't checked, but end of school year's coming up, and she volunteers a lot at school, and I thought this would be a nice volunteer gift as well. So, and she's a big Disney fan, so that's why I did that one. So I do have plans for them. I think I'm going to do a couple more just because I've got particular fabric that I want to use that I didn't use here. For Nurse Appreciation Week is coming up. My niece is studying to be a nurse, so I might send her one at her college. And just thoughts. I think they're very handy, and I think they're useful. And Mother's Day, Father's Day. Don't know when Grandparents' Day is. Anyway, great gifts, birthdays. I like it. Obviously I made a bit, kind of got a little overboard on it, but so that's what I'm doing. And I hope you like them, and I hope you like the video. I know it's a little long for me, but thanks for watching, and I hope wherever and whenever you are at, you are having a great day.